Okay, so I just got wind of this Mars civilization conspiracy that people are now believing in. Apparently that somehow there's an ancient civilization on Mars or a lab, I heard. Or whatever the fuck these people are saying. First I want to talk a second about this camera. These are images from the HRSC stereo camera the ESA and the DLR are using to monitor the planet Mars. Here's an actual snapshot, though, of the surface of Mars taken by the rover the US sent some years back. As we can see here, everything is clearly real. But when we look at the Hale crater shots from the HRSC stereo camera, it looks a little weird. Well, anybody who's ever messed with 3D Studio Max can tell you these are not photographs per se. These are 3D images created by a computer. HRSC reads the land data, sends it to an Earth-based computer, which shows the surface in 3D rendering. Okay. And anybody who's ever messed with 3D might be able to discern what's real from what's a glitch in light and shadow, etc. So here, look at this. This is an HRSC image of rounded off rocks on the surface of Mars. And here's a closer look. You see that straight-edged shadow coming off that rock? That round rock right there in the middle? This happens sometimes with 3D rendering, but I don't see this as even the case with Hale Crater. First of all, the conspiracy videos I've seen say this area is blurred and you have to doctor the photo to see the alien structures. Of course, if you're willing to make such a stretch to say, you know, they are keeping this secret, certainly they could be keeping anything secret. Like, for instance, maybe these aren't shots of an ancient civilization, but actually shots of a now fully functional US military base. But I digress, and it's neither of the sort. 3D images to be doctored, you don't blur them. You could simply remove objects entirely without a trace. They wouldn't build the damn thing as competently as they did, and then when the ESA photo doctoring department gets a hold of the pictures, they just blur stuff. You'd have to be seriously lacking a major chunk of information here. This is something you would learn at the beginning of your 3D rendering career, not after you've already built a damn space camera. Okay, anyway, let's now doctor these pictures. But not as severely as this, which is one of the pictures people say they see a civilization on Mars. Right. Black and white crap. First we'll mess with my basic window picture editor sliders. Here. Here's a picture. Here's a picture. Here's one. Here's another one. Here's another one. Temperature, contrast changes, and stuff like that. Alright, this is all I'm going to do with this, because as it goes with 3D images, if they're doctored by any original source, you will not notice anything at all. Entire objects can easily be seamlessly removed. Because with 3D rendering, you control really what everything looks like, aside from the occasional light and shadow glitch, like here. Landmasses can be produced using drag and drop methods, so to speak, and also if you want to change what an area looks like, you take the whole area you're changing, change the little part you wanted, and then you'd replace the corresponding coordinate piece. And the seams, if you ever saw them, would not be around the changed part of the static itself, it'd be around the piece's edge. So if you want to make an argument for that, I'd suggest combing the outer area of Hale Crater, which you have no idea whether they changed just a square model area or a circular area. So you're pretty much left to just hoping they made a huge and obvious mistake in the floor plan itself here, particularly. Which, if they did, there's clearly no objects that match civilization in this image. So you're left guessing what it is they were hiding, which could be as simple as nothing at all. It's not a glitch. You can doctor a picture like a 3D image and make lines show up. You just use things you were not supposed to use, like for instance, here's my beautiful face. And red eye reduction on my program will fill in the geographical features of my gigantic face and make me look badass. But these shadow effects aren't real. They are responding to the area. If you do it wrong, it looks bad, like this. Now I've just got all kinds of shadows that aren't really there. You don't doctor a photo to see something better. In the forensics lab, when the cops have a blurry shot of the guy, they don't say, hey, let's obscure his face to see it better. And if you have a picture as sharp as these, you don't obscure them to see them better. Now here's some Mars lines. I think there's people who say this looks like Nazca lines. So here's the Nazca lines. Right. And yeah, so they don't look alike at all to me. This looks more like this to me.